Juliana, welcome. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. We've been waiting for this comment period for a couple of weeks now. And so I'm really excited for you to tell us a little bit more about it. But I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your work.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Marissa. Hi, Jenny. I see you on the comments. Uh, Thank you all so much for making the time to just listen to us. This is a really important issue that we're talking about today. Um, as you all know, but for now, my name is Juliana. I serve as a senior advocacy manager at United We Dream. I am a DACA recipient myself. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And United We Dream, for those who don't know, is basically, what we say is like we're the largest immigrant youth-led network in the country, grassroots. And we do a lot of our grassroots organizing and movement building and advocacy around issues of undocumented youth and the undocumented community. So glad to be here. Thank you again, Marissa, and thank you everyone for having us.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. Juliana, again, thank you for being here. We're going to talk about the comment period, but before we even get started, I just want to make sure we set the stage and a foundation for like what is happening today with DACA, what you should know about DACA today. So DACA is still valid today. If you are eligible to renew, please make sure that you're watching that renewal date. Make sure that you are reminding yourself, create a calendar reminder for yourself to go ahead and renew your DACA. Unfortunately, because of the court decision that was issued in a court in Texas, there are no new applications that are being accepted. So just wanted to make sure that, reiterate that, but those who have DACA and can renew can still do that. And then, just make sure that you're staying on top of all the news. I know things are changing rapidly. So Juliana, let's go ahead and start. I know that organizations like United We Dream have also been doing a lot recently on the legislative front, advocating for a pathway to citizenship. Can you tell us where those efforts are at and kind of what that looks like in this moment?
Wow, yeah, that's a big question. There's a lot happening, right? Oh my God. But okay, just to break it down for folks, right now, actually, our folks are outside of the Capitol building to make sure that progressives hold the line and hold their leverage to pass the reconciliation package, right? The Build Back Better package. So on the House side, we've, when it comes to immigration, we've been able to include a pathway to citizenship for immigrant youth, TPS holders, DEZ holders, farm workers, and other essential workers through the Judiciary Committee, right? So that's in the package already on the House side. And now we are waiting for a final vote in the House on the entire package, okay? On the Senate side, as y'all might have heard, we are in negotiations with the parliamentarian. So for those of y'all who don't know, the parliamentarian is an advisory unelected position in the Senate. Her job is to give advice on whether something is able to pass the Byrd rule or be able to be reconcilable in the budget. So she's the one who tells Senate Democrats whether something can be included or not. But again, it's just an advisory position, right? So Democrats really are the ones who make the decision to ultimately put something in the Senate package or not. Just want to make sure that we all know that Schumer, Pelosi, even Vice President Harris, they have the ultimate power here. So no matter what y'all have been hearing about the parliamentarians saying yes or no to certain things, they hold the power and we can hold them accountable to it, right? But that's where we are in the Senate. We are still going back and forth with the parliamentarian, trying to go through the procedure, but at the same time, reminding all senators, Schumer, Durbin, Leahy, that we are keeping our eyes on them, and we know that they have the power here.
Well, thank you, Juliana, and to everyone at United We Dream for all the work that you are doing on this front. It's incredibly important and will have a really big impact on so many folks in our community, particularly maybe even some of those who are watching today. So thank you again for that work. So there's another really important thing happening this week. I know there's so much, but one of those is that this Tuesday, the DACA comment period opened. And that there's this proposed rule on DACA. Can you just walk me through, like, what is this comment period? What is this proposed DACA rule? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this rule is something that we were expecting already, right? We have been waiting for it for about 6 months since it was announced during the Texas DACA case that we've all been following, right? Judge Haynen over there. So the administration had announced that they were going to propose a new rule to what they say to codify the DACA policy, right? Because it was created through a memo without going through a public comment period. The judges and Supreme Court justices had already made comments about that being a weakness of the program. And so the government had announced this rule. They were going to put it out to fortify and strengthen the program. Okay, so that's what that is. Right now, it's just a proposed rule, right? It has to go through a public comment period, which means that for the next 60 days, the public has a chance to make their voices heard when it comes to this rule, right? We know that everybody should have a chance to have their voices heard in policy, and this is one way of doing that. The rule itself, the proposed rule, keeps the eligibility from the 2012 memo. So the same eligibility, if you're eligible for DACA now, you'd still be eligible for DACA after this rule becomes final. It doesn't change the program in many ways, but it also ensures that DHS does not share information from DACA applicants for immigration enforcement purposes. And it clarifies that advanced parole will continue to be an option for DACA recipients. So those are all three really three good things, right? Like it doesn't shrink the program in any way, and it codifies advanced parole and information sharing. Great things. The one thing that we are disappointed with this rule about is that it changes the application process by making it optional to request employment authorization when requesting protection from deportation. So to apply for DACA without the work authorization, it'll be about $85 now. Or applying for DACA with the work authorization, it'll be the normal $495. So what this means is that it's separating, right, the deferred action, the protections from deportation, from the benefits of a work permit. And we can go more into it, but unfortunately, we think that that's kind of a retreat from the government in what they think that they can defend about the program, right? And it leaves the work permit portion of it open to challenges in the court, or even to be severed completely from the policy in a future date.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing that, Juliana. I saw a question at the bottom on our chat about, like, can new applicants apply? Given the information that Juliana just shared, as she mentioned, unfortunately, no new applications are being accepted. Just those who are currently in the program can continue to apply. So just wanted to make sure to clarify that up front. Okay. That is a lot of information. We've also been hearing so much in the news, like immigration has stayed on the news this week and in the weeks past. So, you know, it's super important. I want to encourage everyone, like, please take care of yourselves, create space for self-care, whether that is like disconnecting or seeking other mental health resources. Informed Immigrant has some really great resources on our website. So please go ahead and check them out, informedimmigrant.com. or Inmigrante Informado. So make sure, again, please take care of yourselves. Like, we can't stay in this work and we can't continue to advocate for these issues if we're not doing so. Juliana, you've outlined for us now, like, what's in the proposed rule and, you know, what this comment period looks like, right? Which is an opportunity for people to give feedback. before the rule is finalized. Again, the rule is not set in stone yet. It's just the proposed rule. So it's super important that before it's finalized, that people are able to give their feedback. So tell us a little bit more about the process of submitting a comment. Like, what does that look like? Who can submit a comment?
Yes. So these comments are submitted usually through this website called the Federal Register, right? The Federal Register is where the government proposes all its new rules. It's a really complicated and ugly website. I wouldn't, I don't want to tell anyone to go there, but anybody can go there. And anybody, I can't stress this enough, but anybody, regardless of status, you don't have to be a citizen, you don't have to be a legal resident, you don't have to have any kind of status. You can be completely undocumented and go on this website and leave a comment for this rule. Luckily, we have partnered up and created a website that's a lot prettier, it's a lot easier to use, right, to help everyone send in their comments. So it's really easy. It takes like 5 minutes. We've also written up templates for everyone, whether you are directly impacted or not. Exactly. A few sentences saying like how this rule would impact you would be super helpful. How you would want this rule to be changed or improved. Like any kind of comments, even if it's in support of the rule or in support of the rule in general, but against certain parts of it, you can say anything about the rule in these comments. But we have let off with some comments. I believe the name of the website is in our homeishere.us website. So it's comment.homeishere.us. You can go there, and we made it real easy for everyone to participate. We need everyone to participate, because I have to say, the government has to review and respond to every single comment that gets sent in. Okay. And
yeah, so they have to listen to you.
They do.
This is an opportunity to make sure they listen to you.
They do, exactly. And like, this is just all part of, being part of democracy, right? Like, as a DACA recipient, I can't vote, but this is one way for me to participate in policy making. So everyone here should go to comment.homeishere.us and leave your comment. It will be open for the next 60 days. And so we have time to comment now and share widely with our social media folks, and have them comment, right? Let's make this go viral, as the kids say these days. So it's another thing is like to share with your friends and your family, to have them also send in their own comments on this. The third way I would say that people can participate is to call your member of Congress and tell them that the only real solution to this problem is to pass legislation, right? As we've said at the top of the call about the reconciliation package, our one and only chance this year is for Congress to pass a pathway to citizenship through the reconciliation process. So there's a lot of urgency here. You can text pathway to 877-877, and we at UWD will help you get connected with your representatives. So again, 3 ways. You submit a comment through our website, homeishere.us. You share that with your social media folks, and then you text the word pathway, PATHWAY, to 877-877. So 3 easy ways to help.
Yeah, thanks for making it super easy. I had the opportunity to go into the website to see what it looked like, to see how long it would take me to submit a comment before this. I wanted to kind of experience that for myself. And I can say that if you've ever written an email to a member of Congress or called a member of Congress, it's just as easy as doing that. And like Juliana said, it doesn't take very long. So Juliana, you said that this is a super important opportunity for people to participate in the policymaking process. But what are some of the other benefits of participating in this comment period?
I think, oh, sorry. I got lost. I lost my train of thought. But the other why it's so important, the other reasons is because, one, as we've said before, you make your voice heard, right? This is an opportunity to tell the government about how DACA has changed lives and been an incredibly successful program, and that it should be kept in its entirety, right? It's another way for us to influence policy, right? Like I said before, as undocumented folks, we are not able to vote. But this is one way for us to influence policy making. This is an important opportunity to remind Congress about the urgency that exists to pass a pathway to citizenship. Only a legislative solution can give DACA recipients the stability they need and deserve. And then the third thing is it will help us win in court. So if the DACA program continues to face legal challenges, then these comments serve as evidence and record of how important and successful and popular the program has been, which lawyers can then use to defend the program. So it's really, really important for lawyers to be able to go into the courtroom and say, we have 200,000 individual public comments from people all over the country that really support this program, and they give all these reasons of why this program is important to them. And so those are three ways, three reasons why it's so important that people participate.
That's super powerful, Juliana. Thanks for sharing that, because I think oftentimes we think about engaging in democracy as like a kind of a single way to do it, right? Like voting or supporting this or supporting that. But here's another opportunity. Like, who knew, right? Before I started doing this work, I didn't know this really existed, and just how much weight it could actually have in terms of impacting like very real people. Similar to you, I was a DACA recipient for many years and had that enormous privilege. And so I know I'm going to be making sure that I share this information out with folks. And I hope those of you listening in also have that opportunity. We've had lots of questions coming in about how long can people comment. I know you've mentioned it a couple of times, but can you tell us again, how long is the comment period and when is the last date that people can comment?
Yes, so it started, the countdown is for 60 days. It started on Tuesday. Today is Thursday, but the last day you have to comment is November 29th, 2021. So November 29th this year. I don't know why I said the year. And
hey, sometimes I still think it's 2020. Thankfully it's not.
Oh my God, yes. I just say, I saw like just a comment from somebody, Maddie Love 187, saying that it also helps shift the public narrative. And I think that that's so important, because we have to build on our own movement for immigration justice. And I think that that adds through that's the fourth reason why we should all be doing this, right?
Yeah, super important that we get those stories out there, that the public knows and understands the immigrant experience. I think those of us who live and work in this space are like, what do you mean people don't know these stories? And, you know, there are places in our country where there are folks who don't know. And so the more we can continue to share that, I think super important. Well, Juliana, thank you so much for joining us to explain what can be kind of like a wonky process to understand. You know, it's super important that folks have that understand that, again, that they're empowered, right? The best way we can tap into our own agency and our own power is by being informed about what is out there and how we can engage. So I know we've had a couple of questions from the audience, and so I want to make sure that we take a look at some of those. I will just start off by saying that we, you know, are not responding to any personal questions, and we also cannot give any legal advice on this call. So I saw a couple of questions come up around advance parole, and Juliana, I will also let you kind of chime in here, but as I see these questions on advance parole that are a little bit more nuanced and more personal, my suggestion to folks is always, please, please, please talk to an attorney before you apply or leave on advance parole. It is incredibly important. We have a tool on Informed Immigrant that you can use your zip code to find a legal provider, or even connect with a community organization in your area to make sure that you're making an informed decision before that type of application. And Juliana, I don't know if you have anything else to.
No, I think that that's perfect. I am not a lawyer. I cannot give personal advice on any individual cases, but I know that your website, Informed Immigrant, has a lot of resources. I know that United We Dream's website also has a lot of resources, so we can find legal representation for free. I would say either for free or very affordable, right? Like that folks can access.
Yeah, thank you, Juliana. And there's a question here, Juliana. I don't know if you want to speak to this a little bit, but it's asking, like, with these new bills or these advocacy efforts being pushed at the federal level, what is the likelihood that Dreamers, that DACA recipients will be included in those legislative efforts that you mentioned earlier today?
I mean, I cannot give like a number, right? Like, I'm not going to say 70-80% chance of us being included. I would say that we are fighting very hard for it, right? Like with everything else, we just have to make sure that we are heard, that we don't let up, that we are, I would say we are also in a critical moment right now, right? Because of how the parliamentarian has responded. And so we just have to make sure that Democrats know that we know that they have the power here, that they can bring a pathway to citizenship into the reconciliation package, regardless of what the parliamentarian says, regardless of what one or two senators say, right? Mentioned Sinema. Like, we have, the leadership here has the power to do that. And so we need to not let up the pressure and make them know that we are watching them. So I'm hesitant to say, like, what are the chances? I would say that folks who have been in this fight for decades have said that they've never been closer to a victory. So there is a lot of positivity and optimism here, but at the same time, we know that this could all fall apart at any moment. And so we need to keep the pressure in.
Yeah, and Juliana, what I'm hearing and as you share these pieces is just like also underlying how important it is for people to engage.
Yes.
Like, so many of you who have joined us today are like, will I be able to apply for DACA for the first time? And as you're saying, right, like right now we have no guarantees, but the best way to guarantee a protection and future, positive policy on immigration is for all of us to be building power together. And so if you, if you joined us today, if you have questions, check out United We Dream, check out Informed Immigrant, check out forward.us. We are all have resources with information, but also ways for you to engage. Reach out to either Informed Immigrant or United We Dream and send us a private message if you want to figure out other ways that you can engage, and we can provide opportunities for engagement there. But again, right, like that building of power, from what I kept hearing from you, Juliana, is so critical for the work and the future of for our immigrant community.
Definitely. And if I can just plug in one more time, y'all, if you want to get involved, very easy. Text the word pathway to 877-877 and we'll get back to you.
Yes, and don't forget that the comment period is 60 days. The last day to comment is November 29th of 2021. And Juliana and the Home is Here folks have made this super simple for you. Comment.homeishere.us. It'll take you about 5 minutes to submit a comment, a great way to engage. Again, this is a proposed rule. Nothing is set in stone. And, I saw a comment and I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but it was around like, when will work authorization go away? It's not that it's going away. What the rule is proposing is that it would be, when you apply to DACA, you automatically get a work permit. And, if the rule was to be final the way that it's proposed right now, it would make it optional for you to say, yes, I want protection from deportation and I want a work permit. So it kind of separates the two asks. We're saying that like they have to be together. So again, if you don't want that to happen, make sure that you are sharing your experiences on how DACA has helped you, or encourage even those people who have supported you, right? Like I shared these resources with some of my former high school teachers. And, you know, they have DACA recipient students right now. They've known me. And I had my history teacher from the 10th grade was like, I'm going to make sure that my students understand the power of comment periods in the Federal Registry because of this. And I'll make sure to comment because of you. So don't forget the power that we have in our allies as well in helping them get that information.
That's amazing.
So again, yeah, I know.
It's giving me all kinds of ideas. I'm gonna start like just texting all my old professors. Hey, you should make your students do this. You know, there's something to be said for a captive audience.
Yes, and I'm actually a former high school teacher, so I think teachers have, first of all, like thank you to all of our teachers out there because you all are doing incredible work. But we have such a strong community of allies in the education community. Sure. And oftentimes, like, we just need to make sure to make those connections, right? And make sure that students understand just how easy it is to engage, again, in democracy, to have your voice heard. But yes, community, thank you so much for joining us. And again, please take care of yourselves. There's a lot going on in the world. We have to protect our hearts and our minds as we continue to live and exist in this world that's often unfriendly to those. Juliana, I want to thank you for your leadership, for your work, and just like getting to know you and preparing for this live was just such a highlight of my week. And so I want to thank you for being here. And I'll just pass it over to you to see if you have any closing thoughts that you may have for us.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for that. That's so nice. I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Me too.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who stuck with us this far. I just wanted to remind everyone, we always knew DACA wasn't enough, and we always knew it was temporary. Okay, and we fought hard for it and won it, right? But we must defend it. But the truth of the matter is that like the only real solution here is through legislation. And so we have to do both. We have to defend the program through this comment period. So please go ahead and leave your comment in, but also at the same time, make sure that you call your congressperson and tell them that we must pass a pathway to citizenship this year. Right? DACA is always under threat and always under attack, and it's not enough. And we deserve better. So let's just go and get it, you know.
Well, thank you, Juliana, for like leaving us with a strong call to action. It is within us and within our power. You know, such a privilege to get to inform our community together, and hope we can get to do this soon, when we can share with people like lots of good news of the advocacy you all have been leading. So fingers crossed, we'll get there. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And we hope to be able to do this again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.